Thank you, Mr. President. 2 years ago when this was up, I didn't speak. And this time, because I have friends on both sides, if either one called me at 20 below one winter's night and said, my water's froze up, can you come help me? I'd put on my long johns and go. So I'm not going to comment on what they said. I'm just going to share with you what I know and how I decide questions like this that are before us. I know that when President Obama was president, in 8 years, he raised the debt $7 trillion. I know that when President Trump was president, he raised the debt $7 trillion in 4 years. This is not a partisan question. I know that when this started 2 years ago, we were at 28 million. Two presidents raised the debt 50%. I know that in the last 3 years, we've gone to 31 trillion, with the Fed raising interest rates to dry up money, and the president and the Congress, both parties, raising the spending. You can't dry up money while you're pumping money in. It just depends on which pump is bigger. So I'm going to share 3 things with you. That was one of them. The second one is, it might sound at first like it's off point. It's on point. How does the world look at us when we're doing what we're doing? I'm not a volunteer, but I do listen to a lot of Chinese radio, and I asked my wife what they're saying. Recently, I said, that guy's really excited. What's he upset about? She said, no, this is the Chinese public radio, not the guys from over here. And he asked the question that if democracy and free enterprise are such good ideas, why does the American government have to borrow money from us for their daily needs, even building a bridge? If you have the answer to that, vote your conscience on this. America is the beacon of hope around the world. But we have to borrow money from the Chinese for our defense budget? How bright and long is that light? If you're making decisions based on fear and because you're out of options, you've waited too long. In 1993, when I was a freshman legislator, I moved Article 5 in state administration. On one side was Don Judge, head of the FL-CIO. Sitting next to him was the head of the, I knew her name a minute ago, it'll come to me, Phyllis Schlafly. I said, you want me to try and get this out of committee? He said, what base? Left and right or opposed? And since 1993, the rate of inflation is such that $1 in 1993 today has the purchase power of a penny. A penny's worth of candy. For a good candy bar, it's $3 or $4. A few years ago, you could buy a whole dang bag of them. That's what we pay in inflation, never mind covering the debt. How much of our budget today, our surplus, is just inflation of no real value, doesn't buy anything. So that's the question before us. We have a problem. We all acknowledge that. Near as I can tell, we have 2 solutions. We take action, or we live in fear that something may happen. One says, I think this will happen. The other says, I think that will happen. I say the lack of action will cause nothing good to happen.